Hey there, and welcome back. It is finally here. We're going to talk about it today, and then we'll talk about the new Black Dahlia Murder, the album announcement, the single Aftermath is officially out, and also some channel updates. So if you don't care about the Black Dahlia Murder, just scroll towards the end, and you're going to hear what the channel updates are. So it is June 13th, 2024, and it is officially announced the Black Dahlia Murder's new album, Servitude, is coming out September 27th, and this is their first album since Trevor's passing 2 years ago. And man, I feel like that's got a lot of baggage that comes with it. I think a lot of people are going to think the same way. And for me personally, if you know me, if you've been an OG subscriber and follower, and if you're close to me, you know that this is like one of my just all-time favorite bands. And Trevor's passing was a gut punch, and it was pretty tough to get through. And I didn't know him super closely, like a lot of people that I'm friends with did, or just a lot of people in the scene. But him and I had interactions in the past. He was a subscriber, followed my stuff on Instagram, and we just shared a lot of like underground bands back and forth. And like that's just how he was. He was the underground metal ambassador. Like he was so immersed into it and just consistently was sharing bands and Bandcamp links and just promoting things, and it was awesome. So I don't feel like special in any way. Like he did that with a lot of people. So I don't think like hold myself on a pedestal here. But he was the first person, the first like musician of a member of a band where I felt, true sadness when his passing was there. So there's that emotional baggage that's connected to this. The band decided to move on. They put Brian, who's been in the band, he's an OG member, from back in the day, and he's just been in the band forever. They promoted him up to, well, they didn't promote him, but he took over the vocal duties. And I'll be honest with you, he was a backing vocals too. So like he's had vocals on other albums, so I think that made the most sense. But I didn't hear anything that he's done. I haven't watched any of the stuff on YouTube. I haven't gone to any of the shows. I pretty much just wasn't, for me personally, wasn't ready or just wasn't hyped about it at all. I obviously didn't want the band to stop, and I'm glad that they continued on. I thought Verminous was a great album, but it's just a weird thing, and I think a lot of people feel that way, and there are some people that I know who I'm close with that were very close with Trevor who are just not ready yet, and that's totally understandable. Like, I get that. But the band, good on them for being able to do this. And first initial thoughts are Brian comes in, he fills massive shoes, and he does it really, really, really well. It's a strange thing because there are moments where he sounds like Trevor, like old school young Trevor before his voice really matured, like so back in the Unhallowed Miasma days. And then you can tell it's Brian. So, but the one thing that I respect and I'm glad they didn't do is they didn't stray too far from the vocal style that Trevor had. It's very, very similar to the style that he brought into this, and they didn't completely change their sound with that. Sometimes bands, they bring in a new vocalist, looking at you, Black Sabbath, where the sound is just so different from the past vocalists. Like Ozzy, Dio, Tony Martin and Dio are probably the most similar, but Ozzy's so different from them. I was worried about that, but they didn't do that. So, like, I'm glad, and that made me happy. He has a very strong voice, but again, it also sounds a little bit more demo era sounding. I don't know if that's just what the production sounded like. The production sounded like that too. They definitely are paying homage to earlier Black Dahlia Murder albums, which I think makes sense considering Brian, has been in the band, OG member, all that other stuff. It makes sense that they did that. And I like that they did that. I like that I hear Unhallowed. I like that I hear Nocturnal. I like that I hear Miasma, Deflorate, like all of those sounds around there. I like that because, those are some of my favorite albums in the discography. So the production sounds weak, and I think that might be done on purpose. It sounds a little bit more raw demo sounding, just a little bit. Oops, sorry about that. Brian's vocals go really, really well. Like I said, at times it sounds like Trevor. It's almost kind of like eerie and then it's like, oh, it's Brian. Like, like he goes back and forth, and there are moments where you start to feel like it's possibly Trevor going, and that kind of weirded me out a little bit. I was kind of like, wow, but he also brings his own flair too. It's not so copy paste Trevor. Like he brings his own flair. He definitely has a little bit more of a sinister black metal style from time to time. Trevor had that too, but not like this. It's kind of in a different vein. So yeah, all in all, it sounds really good. I think people are going to really, really enjoy this. But the thing that might be tough is just moving on from Trevor. And I think that's what a lot of fans might be feeling. But from what I've been seeing on, the fan club, Blasphemes, if you're familiar, and then also the subreddit that I have been running for the last 14 years, people are very hyped, they're very excited, they love it, and that makes me happy. I obviously want the band to still continue to be successful, and my worry was that they were going to do something different and just completely kill the band, and I'm glad that they didn't, and I didn't think they were going to do that anyway, but so yeah, it's just a weird transition. I think it's going to be a weird transition for a lot of people, but this is probably done the best way possible, and they paid homage to him very, very well, and it sounds really good. So I am excited for the album now. I will admit I hadn't been. I'd be kind of just weirded out by it, and just kind of like, I don't know how I feel about this, but my emotions don't matter. Like, the band's gonna do what they want, and I respect them for that, and I think that's them moving on and doing this was probably needed. Maybe there's some closure that is going to come with this. Probably 100%. There's a lot of that, and so I'm glad that they're doing that. Now, for long-term longevity of this, I don't know, I would be happy and okay if they said this was it. We're releasing this album, no more. Maybe we'll continue to tour for a couple years and come back and do some reunion shows and stuff like that, but no new music after this, and I would be totally okay with that. I think this would be a good note to end on, to hey, we had this tragedy, it was terrible, we came back, we dedicated this to him, we are paying homage to Trevor, and now we're done, and that would totally be okay with me. This is all speculation, though. I don't know. They've never said that. Don't take this as, oh my God, they're done. No, that was never said. This is just my own personal thought. If they were to say that, I'd be totally okay with it. I think this would be ending on a really good note. But I don't know. They might continue on. They might make 10 more albums, and which would be totally fine too. But for what it is, if you take away the emotional aspect of this, it is very good. And I'm happy about it, and I'm glad people are hyped about it, and yeah, those are my thoughts. The only real harsh criticism I have right now is the album cover, and that is only because they have some amazing album artwork in their discography, amazing. Miasma Unhallowed, the exception there, those aren't that great, but Nocturnal and Abysmal and Nightbringers and Verminous and Everblack, they're all such incredible. Deflorate, they're all such incredible album art. And then this one kind of just what is this swirly butthole? What's going on here? What is this? And there's probably a meaning behind it, and that'll probably come out today or tomorrow or whatever, and they might explain it more. And I don't know if that'll change my opinion, but it doesn't seem to really fit the mold of the past albums in their discography. But again, that's very trivial, very, whatever. It's not going to stop me from buying the album or anything like that. But that was really the only harsh criticism, outside of just the production kind of sounding a little bit weak. But everything else, A+, happy about it. Think it sounds good. They did Trevor justice. They paid homage. And I think the fans, and I know the fans are really excited about it. Also, you should know, Ryan Knight is back, and he's a fan favorite. Everybody loves Ryan. And again, just some other call outs, Brandon Ellis's leads on here are so good. And Alan's drumming is spectacular. He's an incredible drummer. And we still got, Max is still on bass. So, like, there's a lot of things that are like going back to the true form of this. And again, they didn't change their sound, so I'm happy about that. So that's my thoughts on the Black Dahlia Murder. September 27th. Album name is Servitude, Metal Blade Records. European pre-orders are already up. I think it's like Kings Road and Empiricon. So you can already go purchase them if you're over there, or if you're in the US, you want to spend that money. But Metal Blade and Night Shift merch will probably be going live, I think, at noon Eastern time today. So there's and I've already seen like all the variants and stuff like that. There's a box set and all this stuff, so pretty cool. Definitely gonna be pre-ordering it. I forgot to mention one thing. I just looked at my notes. There is some lyrics on the Aftermath that are kind of like, damn, that just kind of, really tugs the heartstrings. And it's like, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And it's in quotes, like, fooling ourselves for how much longer, pushing against nature's grain, kidding ourselves that we're still sane. I mean, knowing, like, reading those lyrics and, like, there's obviously some emotional baggage that are going to be coming with some of these lyrics. And obviously, when the whole album is out and stuff like that, there might be some other stuff here, but that was like what stood out in regards to the lyrics that were just like, fuck, that just kind of wrecked me a little bit. Given the fact of how Trevor passed, and just seemed to be really, in a headspace that was not great, obviously. And that was reflecting on a lot of the other lyrics that they've done in the past, but that stood out in terms of the lyrics. So I just wanted to call that out. But anyway. Okay, so I mentioned that I wanted to do a channel update. So this is probably going to be my last video for a while. I need to take a little bit of a mental break. These last, almost 6 months now have been super, super, super taxing on me. Mentally, emotionally. Things are looking up now. I've got a new job. I'm going on my this is like my second week now, or third week, I can't remember. And things are good, and like our financial situation is going to change back and go back to normal, and like it's going to be better, and obviously, but that obviously weighed heavily. I mean, it's just a lot of stress that I've been dealing with, and then unfortunately, like I mentioned in my last video, I had to put my dog Plato down after having him for 14 and a half years last week. And that has been a very weird and sad transition that I'm dealing with right now. He was very much like an emotional support dog for me, like just one of those dogs that went with me everywhere. We traveled all over the country together, like just was my like right hand man. So it's been rough these last couple of days, and I think I just need to take a little bit of a break, stop uploading videos. I don't really have much motivation anyway. Like, I've got stuff here that I can record videos and talk about and stuff, but I just don't really feel like it, don't really want to. Obviously, this was an easy video to make because it's so, like, everyone's talking about it, and obviously, it's one of my favorite bands, but other than that, I just don't really want to do this right now. And people tend to notice if I go long stints without uploading. So if I go like a week without uploading, people start to be like, "Oh, are you there? Like, are you coming back?" And I appreciate that. Like, I'm glad you guys are making sure I'm okay, especially these last like several months. I've had so many people following up with me and helping me out, sending me things like, "Hey, like, I know this person's hiring," and like just being super supportive. And then now, with me having to put my dog down, they've been private messaging me, making sure I'm okay. I totally like appreciate that. So thank you so much for all of the support. But I'm going to take a couple weeks off here. I'm going on vacation, family vacation that's been planned for 2 years now. In about a week and a half. So I think this is a good stopping point because I wasn't planning on uploading that week while I was gone. And I'm probably going to come back sometime in July, but just take maybe 2-3 weeks off, not upload anything. But I'll be back. I'm not quitting the channel. I'm just taking a little bit of a mental break here. Gonna, refresh, reset. I'll have a bunch of stuff to talk about when I come back. I'll have more vinyl to show you that I've been getting back into the collection. Some people, a friend of mine sent me a couple of records that he had. He's a close friend of mine. And then I ordered some stuff finally. So that, in terms of like the channel, like it's not stopping. I just need a break, and we go through this, and I'm just gonna just wanted to call that out. So emotional and mental reset, but I'll be back. No set time frame. It might be longer than a couple of weeks. Who knows? We'll see how I'm feeling, but I'll be back. And especially if, somebody reaches out and they want me to do some sort of a promotion for them, like I'll definitely do that, especially if it has to be like within a time frame. I'll definitely come back and do that because, I don't want to ignore that. I want to help people out when it comes to those type of things. But yeah, so this is gonna be the last video for a while. I was planning on doing a review of the new Ulcerate album because it's fucking phenomenal. I'll save that for when I come back. And yeah, thank you guys for all the support. It's, these ups and downs, they suck, and everybody knows when you go through it, but you just gotta take some me time here. And I'll be back. So no worries. I'm not gonna end the channel or anything like that. I mentioned several times, and I'll do this until I don't feel like doing it anymore. It's just not that time, but just wanted to call that out there. And I will say there is probably one. I'll do like a reel, or what the fuck is it called? A short to show you the new Ulcerate album because it's beautiful. I might just do a quickie of that, but otherwise these videos are going to be stopped for a little while. But again, I'm not going anywhere. I didn't quit. I'm still alive. I'll probably still be posting things on Instagram because obviously that's less personal. Like I'm not getting into a camera and talking. So if you follow me on social media, Facebook and Instagram, you'll probably see posts there. But in terms of videos, I'm just going to take a little bit of a break because I don't really have much motivation. I just need a break. So that is all I have, you guys, and I will see you in the next one.